the streets of Laredo as I walked out in Laredo one day. I spied a young cowboy all wrapped in white linen, all wrapped in white linen, and cold as the clay. I see. Hey, hey, hey. Here we go. We're getting started. Let's see what Susan does for notifications, because I posted a couple of videos already today. Sometimes that's the death knell. But what do we got? We got Krusty in here, and Wolverine's with us, and Inflated Milk, and Andrew and Uzi and Oink, and Pizza Man. Hey, good to see you again, pal. And Nicholas, excuse me, Callum, Jason the Killer, Cinepress, 100 flavors of ice cream got notified. Nice, nice, nice. My cock is very small, but one of the great screen names of of our crew here, Susan and her Susanisms. Yeah, Krusty, no doubt about it. That's not bad. That's not bad, Wolverine. He says 88 is better than 69. You get 8 twice. Yeah. That's not bad. I like that. I approve. Oh yeah, we did make it the Friday AZ, and I tell you, it's an interesting thing because I can't really complain because I'm having a good time, but with all the extra amount of content I've been doing, it's amazing how fast the weeks go by because I'm in here I get up. Well, I told you guys before. I get up 5:30 every day. I get up, let the dog out, take care of a couple little things around the house, and I sit down in here, and I'll be here steady for about 6-7 hours, and then before the night is over, at least 3 to 5 more intermittently through the day. Arthur says, I got one hell of an update for you. All right, well, hit me with it. Aaron says, when I keep watching your reaction videos, it was so funny and hilarious. From Brandon. Oh, yeah. Brandon's awesome, Aaron. Brandon's just amazing. Well, just a great dude, too. A really, really good dude. Rosa says, Curtis, did you know about this new movement, Care To? I don't, but that sounds like the setup of a joke. Rosa. Jason says, I still play Pokemon Go. I am actually out walking and exercising. It's good for that. It really is. I mean, it is a great way to get you out there. See, with me, with weight issues, or when I want to lose weight, the issue for me is I like to eat crap. Not lack of exercise. I love exercising. I enjoy lifting weights. I love punching Bob in the face. I go up regularly to Spaz Kids Old High School here and play basketball on the courts. I have no problem exercising. I like it. But I also like to eat a lot. That's what I thought, Rosa. Care to keep sucking on these nuts? A bunch of schools did. Boomy Ocean. Boomy Ocean says, my school actually banned Pokemon Go when it first came out. Yeah, ours did not. What did we get banned? It was a fad from years ago. Oh, we had the Beyblades got banned at our school when Brax was there, and that was because kids were whaling each other with them. And if they'd had Beyblades when I was a kid, we were a bunch of real sick fucks. There'd definitely been slashings and stuff with them. My cock is very small, but says I've been watching the Marjorie Taylor Greene ordeal. My God, doesn't that woman have selective amnesia? Wow. Unfortunately, when you take a look at both sides of our political aisle here, there are so many fucking lunatics on each side. There really are. It's just so, it's too depressing to talk about sometimes. Yeah, Jason, that's understandable. Yeah, they got banned. and again, I get it. Arthur says, so if you remember about my sister claiming my house and trying to sell it, yep. Well, my grandmother's lawyer apparently found a will and submitted it out of nowhere, and now she suddenly started acting like she barely knows me, drawing distance and saying she's going to sell the house. Greed has destroyed any faith I have in family. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I just caught them, Arthur. I see your super chat. Just caught them. That's unfortunate. It goes on way too often in families too, and it really is. I mean, it's truly a shame. Jesus Christ says, I just bought a house at 31 and 420 was my birthday. Ah, nice. Well, first of all, happy birthday a little late, Lord and Savior. And it's nice to know that Jesus has got a place to live. Because, after a while, those mangers get old and you outgrow the little bed of hay there. Gabe says, my grandpa went to Vietnam and he shot and killed dozens of North Vietnamese single-handedly. We are going on vacation somewhere else next year. No, go back there. He's doing a good job. Inflated Milk says, in my school, 2 of the statues of patron saints, if I'm not mistaken, were marked as Pokestops. So our school had to make a Facebook post saying they won't let any people in to stop by. Jeez. I don't think I'd heard about that happening before, Milk. Oh, man. Religious statues marked as Pokestops. You know, if you go to Egypt, the pyramids got to be one, right? Yeah. Let's see. Rosa says, why didn't Dale Earnhardt go to heaven? I can imagine he took a turn for the worse near the end of his life. Very near the end. Very near. Mao says, thoughts on Trump DeSantis 2024? You guys know how I feel about that. I lean right now, and that's because I have concerns about the extreme left having too much sway with their party. And given that, I don't want Trump at the top of the ticket. He's going to get it if he wants it, but I don't want to have to vote for Trump again. I would much rather vote for DeSantis as president. I'm hoping somehow something happens that drops Trump out of it. Because again, if he runs, I'll have to vote for him for the reasons I outlined, and it's not something I relish. Arthur says, so I had to withdraw all my money from my 401k because I'm going to be homeless soon because of my own grandmother. That's terrible, Arthur. I'm sorry to hear that, pal. That's terrible. I don't know, man. It's amazing how brutal families can be to one another. Milag says, a Pokestop sounds like something you do on a long road trip. Got to stop driving for a bit and have a little pokey. Or you could say, the old school days, Milag, the pokey was a euphemism for jail. So a Pokestop could just be knocking over a 7-Eleven. And it could be a double header that way, because the 7-Eleven itself may have been an actual Pokemon Pokestop too. So you'd think you would get like extra points for that. Big Green says there's a Pokemon that looks like a sarcophagus. You think in Egypt you'd find a lot of those. Yeah, true. I would think so, Big Green. Good point. Hi, Morgan. Good to see you. Milk says, what do you think of Ravishing Rick Rude's persona and also as a worker? Both were excellent. The whole, his whole character that he created, the whole arrogant thing, there and everything. And he was a real life badass too. Rick Rude was a fighter. But no, excellent wrestler and phenomenal gimmick. Nothing bad to say about Rick Rude. Max says, I have an idea for a reaction. What do you think about reacting to oversimplified one today, Curtis? Probably not. That's not the direction we're doing, as you see, with the channel right now. And again, YouTube has taught us that we have to each stay in our lanes if we don't want to get spankings from the YouTube algorithm. So right now we're doing anime and a lot of the cartoon, and in general, try not to laugh. What about Mankind versus Undertaker Hell in a Cell? That's one of my all-time favorites, Mal. That was a phenomenal match. Arthur says, next post. Oh, I don't want DeSantis as president. I think he's great for local government, but I don't want someone so ideological in the presidency. Trump leaves people alone. Ooh, I don't know about if I agree with that Trump would be more likely to leave people alone than DeSantis would. Really, if you think about it, Arthur, ideologically, Trump and DeSantis are basically the same. It's just that at least with DeSantis, whether you love him, hate him, or ambivalent about him, at least he presents himself, articulates himself well, and just like the whole thing with, Disney and everything, he'll say what he's going to do and do it, and you don't get that with Trump. Now, so at least with DeSantis, you know what you're getting, and you can base your feelings about him based on that. I'm not saying he would be my necessarily number one. I just think if it's not Trump, it's going to be DeSantis, and I would rather have him. Nah, visual FX guy, what do you call a racist superhero? A white Power Ranger. Johnny says, Green is a very strange woman, and she does look kind of like Mickey Rourke. I hadn't heard that before, but you guys are right. Or maybe a less fuckable Bret Michaels. I hadn't heard that until today, the whole Mickey Rourke thing. But yeah, that's close. Gabe says, DeSantis, in my opinion, will probably focus more on the pandemic and the economy. Yeah, and like I say, now, again, it's not even an endorsement of him. It's just the truth. At least with DeSantis, you'll know where he stands because he has been upfront about things. Now, that's why a lot of people don't like him, because they don't agree with what he's done with Disney and don't agree with the legislation passed about what teachers can teach to kids and so on and so forth. But again, at least you know what you're getting. And that's not true with Trump. Trump's all over the place, because I don't think Trump knows what Trump's going to do from day to day. And I don't think it's good having somebody like that in command, and somebody with an ego that completely out of control. Pretty much every politician that reaches that level of being considered or having been president of the United States has to have ego to get there, but Trump's is out of control. Millie Joel says, Mr. Popo 2024, let's go. No, Popo, no. Mouse says, what's the opinion on Ben Shapiro? Obviously, I agree with some of the things he says, a lot of the things he says, disagree with others, like most pundits. I'll listen to him. There are topics he gets into that I'm not interested in, and I'll tune him out, or not interested in his take. No one says DeSantis, or as I've called him since I moved to Florida, Daddy Santis. Eli says, I'm not much into Trump anymore. I already watched Annoying Orange in my childhood. Yeah, remember how big Annoying Orange was for a while? That was freaking huge. Chad Weston says DeSantis can articulate the Russian talking points better. I'm not much of a believer in the whole Russian talking points thing from any of them. I don't see anything that indicated to me that there was policy implemented that favored Russia. Do I think Trump is boorish in conducting foreign relations? Yes. And I think he gives really bad optics, but that's not what I'm concerned about as I am with policy, and I don't see anything Russian influence as far as policy with him. And again, I'm not standing up for him. I don't want him as a nominee. I'm just stating what I've seen. Ashley says, hey, Curtis, what inspired you to become open-minded to try so many different things? Oh, I don't know, actually, if that is the case. It's just because, for me, it's always been a case of, I told you guys this before, life is the blink of an eye when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. It's so short. I don't want to get left out on anything that I wanted to try at any point or seemed interesting. Hell, I'm going to try it. That's the thing. You don't want to get too old or get to the end of your life and look back and say, oh man, I should have done this, I should have done that, I had a chance. No, do it. Excuse me. Mao says, what if we had Biden Sanders? Yikes. Oh, yikes. You guys know in general, as far as my ideological leanings or political leanings, I will not support anything or anyone that believes that government should control more things for us, bring government more into our life. Because I'm seeing every day, and more so now, more so lately, they can't run any, even things like Social Security. I'll give you a good example. My wife turned 62 on April 2nd. On March 2nd, we put in for her Social Security to start because she doesn't really get much extra to wait the extra years. And she is retired now. So we put in for her Social Security retirement on March 2nd. They said it would take about 2 to 4 weeks for it to go in. It went right immediately to step 2 for it to go to step 3. 6.5 weeks later, they apparently went beyond step 2 and have said nothing about step 3. We called, waited on hold for an hour and a half, and they said, yeah, you'll get something in the mail soon letting you know. And it's like, the government doesn't run anything well. It's just fact. The government, there is no big operation that our government runs efficiently. So anybody politically that pushes for the government to take on more responsibilities as they relate to our day-to-day lives is not going to have me on board. Jesus Christ says, Trump said he won't run again? When was that, pal? I never heard that. Everything I've heard is he's been leaning towards it. That's why he's having his rallies and everything again. I haven't heard that at all. Let's see. Arthur says, next post, trans kids and abortion, for example. I agree with these actions personally, but I want them to remain local personal. Governor shouldn't infringe parental rights, even if I dislike those parents. Well, I definitely agree with the last part of that. Yeah. Well, parenting is like the big deal to me anyway. My cock is very small, but says, Curtis, what do you think about a Cruz presidency? Not a big fan of Ted Cruz. Between him and DeSantis, I'd rather have DeSantis. Philip says, would a notification be too much to ask for Susan? It is. That's what kills us. Oh, well, we say it all the time here. Philip knows. Philip's a mod. He's here at pretty much every stream. Oh, always around. Philip's has been for years. And then you'll see days like this, we'll get a half decent number of notifications to go out. But how do you leave out somebody like Philip? It just, the system is so messed up. Excuse me. Big Green says, ain't that the truth? Time goes by so fast. Next year I'll be in my 30s. Scary. Oh boy, are you, Big Green? Hell, you're still in your prime, brother. Still in your prime. Rosa says, here's my state. Government should infringe on parental rights like they have done so before because parents don't always know what's best for their children or even care what's best. Yeah, on an individual basis, Rosa, yeah, I think as a society, we owe it to a child to take them out or remove them from a dangerous situation. I agree with you if that's what you're saying. But I mean, as a general practice, no. There's never been a visual effects guy says you should watch more SML videos. I enjoy them. There's never been it's just, every community, every YouTube community that's created is different in their own likes and dislikes. And they've never been real popular here. Our crew just isn't that much into them. Thoughts on Libertarian Party? Pizza Man says, I have a lot of beliefs that would be considered libertarian. I don't align with any party, nor will I ever. I don't like the right off the top, the all taxation is theft, because I believe that is absolutely incorrect and flawed in its very nature. So when that's your rallying cry, you kind of lose me. But as far as my overall beliefs, I fall in line with a significant amount of libertarian takes on things. Put it this way, a libertarian candidate is not somebody who I would eliminate for consideration for my vote. Inflated Milk says, thoughts on the Reagan presidency? I'd give it good marks. I approved of most of what Reagan did. There's never been a presidency, I think, for any of us, if we're honest, where you across the board approved of everything that was done, every move that was made. But generally positive. Malin says, Curtis, what is your opinion on legalization of drugs? Depends on which ones you're talking about. Do I like marijuana? I don't have a problem with legalization of marijuana as long as there's responsibility with it, because again, unfortunately, with alcohol has been legal since prohibition, and I don't think our laws always keep up as they should with the proper penalties for people hurting others drinking and driving and things of those nature. So we do know one of the side effects to pot is it will slow down your reflexes. So I don't have a problem with the legalization as long as people are going to understand you can't get blazed up, go driving, kill somebody I know or that's dear to me because you had shit reactions and then not pay a serious consequence for it. Dirtman Band says, just became a patron, loving Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh, isn't that a great series? Yu Yu was so good. They had talked, and when we watched it, Dirtman, the gang there had told me, what was it leading into that? Before because we vote on everything over at the Goosh, our Patreon. We vote on everything that becomes a series there, and when the gang was bringing that one up to me, it was said so many times by different individuals at different times, you can't call yourself an anime fan until you've seen Yu Yu. And now, having seen it, I understand why, because it set the table for so many things that we've seen repeated throughout time in anime. Pooh John Pooh says, I love your anime reactions. I always find myself going back to rewatch them. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's been nice to be able to bring some here so far to the YouTube channel again. Now, they got us on Demon Slayer, but so far we're doing okay with Dragon Ball Z and Avatar. And yes, I know many people don't consider Avatar an anime. Don't care. I'm not going to have that conversation. But so far, we're doing good with those. So if we can keep up at that rate, getting 2 out of every 3 to stick, I'll take it. Milk says, did you ever receive a botched move when you were wrestling? Sure. Fortunately for me, none that were like debilitating. Much more smaller, minor botches. What about Trump Romney versus Biden Carter? Oh, geez, Mao. Please don't even suggest that. Biden Carter. He says Trump as president helps Russia by making America weaker since he mismanages America's foreign policy so badly. I don't agree with that statement. I don't see what he did in, to use your words, mismanagement of foreign policy that weakened us to any significant degree. I mean, you could cherry pick things. Hell, the easiest one to, I mean, if you wanted to compare apples to oranges, the easiest thing to point out is Biden's first big foreign policy decision was an absolute clusterfuck in the in taking us out of Afghanistan. It could not have been performed any worse. So that shows you could make the argument that we're dysfunctional on the international stage and maybe set the stage for emboldening Putin to do what he did. So I mean, there's a lot of leaps to say that Trump's mismanagement of foreign policy helped Russia in any way. Red Dead 2, no, I haven't MKD. I played a lot of Red Dead 1, but I haven't played through 2. Or actually, I think we started it, didn't we? Start that? I take that back. I played a little bit of it. Mouse says, what about Biden's recent appointment to the Supreme Court? Republicans are kicking off about it. I didn't have a problem with her. Seems fair to me. See, the Supreme Court, the recent Supreme Court appointees, it's just that on both sides has just been pure political hacktivism. The other side getting pissed off because they the judge in questions rulings lean against them. I haven't had a problem with any of them. I think they've all been deserving, and just because I don't agree, and I apologize, I've forgotten the woman's name, but just because I don't agree with a lot of her takes on things, I don't see anything egregious that was brought up in her past that would make you think she won't be a fair Supreme Court judge. Jesus Christ says, I just want to see Nixon run again with quivering jowls as a slogan. Yeah. I am not a crook. Yeah, that's what. No, you're right, Big Green. That's why I corrected myself. It was R2 that we had watched some of. I was thinking it was 1, but it was 2. I agree with that statement, Johnny. Carter was a terrible president, but a wonderful person. He is a good guy. You just, no two ways about it. He's a great guy. But yeah, he was not a good president. It says, why do gay people like BDSM so much? They got used to asking daddy to stop punching them from a young age. Oh, man, Rosa. Yikes. Oh. Oh. Gabe says, America. There's a little something to that, Gabe. America won the war against COVID the same way they won the war against Vietnam. Got too expensive and they just declared it was over. Yeah, Big Green. I am not a crook. Trump, Nixon versus Biden, Carter. Ashley, that sounds vaguely familiar. Ashley says, are you familiar with an old cringy Nickelodeon show called Mr. Meaty? I can't believe I used to watch that. That sounds familiar, but I really can't remember it. So if I did see it, it must have been just very little of it. The name is Meaty, and I respond with very little. That's not Freudian or anything. Aqua Team Hunger Force, Chimera. No, I haven't. I know of it. I've seen advertisements for it and stuff, but I have not seen any episodes of it. Yeah, I think that's true, Gabe. I feel that Carter was more out of touch with the American people. When he went up against Reagan, he stood no chance of winning. Yeah, I agree with you. Yep, I agree. Especially in that time period, yeah. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. What do you think of the Johnny Depp trial? Wolfpaw seems like a pretty dysfunctional couple. I think they both have their issues, but I think Amber Heard is an absolute, psychopath. Visual FX guy says, I only know Aqua Teen because Master Shake appeared on Robot Chicken before. I've seen some of Robot Chicken. Love it. Would love to do reactions to it, but that's one of the ones that I know the producers have issues with having them posted on YouTube, so I just stay away. Next post, Arthur says, government is just other people. True. They don't know what parenting is right or wrong. It's not their place. That's for the child to decide when they have kids of their own. Yeah, like I say, I am for government staying out of our parenting, except in specific circumstances. I think that we would want our government to protect children when there is a very real, clear, and present threat to them. But as far as in the day-to-day routine, yeah, leave it up to parents. Reagan and Kennedy, Gabe says, in my opinion, are the best speakers who became president. And even though I didn't agree with him on a lot of things, I think you have to put Obama in there. If we're talking speakers, you have to put Obama in there as well. Obama was a really gifted speaker too. And believe it or not, one of the smartest presidents we've ever had, as far as just pure intelligentsia, was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's off the charts with his IQ. My cock is very small, but says I agree with the right on almost everything fiscally, but the anti-abortion and anti-anything that's not straight and white pushes me away. Well, that's why, in a nutshell, that's why I don't align with either party, or any party. There is no party line that I can go up and down their belief structures and agree with. So there will never be a party in my future. A party in my pants. Where was I when Chernobyl happened, Wolfpaw? Gosh, I don't remember exactly where. I know it's one of those big moments in life, but I don't remember my exact location, to be honest with you, or exactly what I was doing. 9/11 I do, I remember, but I don't remember Chernobyl. Gabe says I was about to say Obama as well. Yeah, Obama, again, whether or not I agree with most of his politics, notwithstanding, he phenomenal speaker. Wolverine says Johnny Depp isn't perfect, but it was totally unfair for him to lose all his roles. I completely agree. While Amber lost nothing, at least wait for the trial to conclude. That's on Disney. That was bullshit from Disney. Absolutely. 100%. The guy gets accused of something, and they take him out of one of the most iconic roles in movie history. But that's Disney is just way, way too over the top concerned about being woke constantly. Let's worry less about woke and more about worry about being fair. Red Wing Hawk says, I have an honest question. What would you guys think if Martin Luther King was president, and how would his term as president be for the nation? Oh, it's hard to say because the world was such a different place, or the nation was such a different place when Martin Luther King was alive. So it's hard to say. You don't know. You don't know. I don't anyway. What Martin Luther King's takes would be on. Well, we know on civil rights, but outside of civil rights, there are so many things that are hot button topics now. I'm not sure where he would land on them. So it's hard to say how he would. What I would personally think of him as a president. I really. I don't know. Ashley says, I hope this isn't too controversial. Nothing's too controversial here. What is your opinion on guys who dress as girls, clothing-wise? Do what makes you happy. I don't have a problem with that. Again, if that's something that makes you comfortable and makes you happy and is what you like to do, have a good time. Evil Betty says, Jeb Bush is a weakling. I've never liked Jeb Bush. He is... of the Bush family, the one that I would have never voted for him in anything. Oh, Pyro Bird Chris says, they laughed at my crayon drawing. I laughed at their chalk outline. That's pretty dark right there. That's seriously dark. As somebody who is a shitty drawer, and if you gave me crayon and paper, it would be laughable. That's frightening. Excuse me, guys. I just got to check something. My wife is out right now with my daughter and the grandkids. I just want to make sure everything's going okay. All right, looks like they're where they said they wanted to get to. Rosa says, Curtis, what is your opinion on trans people? If you don't worship us, you're literally a bigot, cis idiot. For those who don't know, Rosa obviously is trans. And yeah, my take on that's the same thing too. As far as trans adults, we're talking a whole different thing if you start talking about children, but trans adults do what makes you happy. That don't hurt me. Doesn't hurt anybody else either. Do whatever makes you comfortable. Let's see. Lang says, I'm talking about him trying to take America in a more isolationist direction. A lot of America's power comes from its relationships to other countries. Weakening those relations will hurt more long term. Right. That if you believe that his more isolationist direction was harmful. I don't necessarily, because if you look at most of the things that he did that would have been isolationist, it was because he felt that other countries, such as in NATO, excuse me, I'm sorry guys, I got to tickle my nose, they just simply weren't paying their way, and America was being left holding too much of the baggage. So that's your belief. I don't subscribe to that belief. I don't think, see, I've never been a believer in America only, but I am a believer in America first. But in fairness, I think if you are in the ruling party in Britain, you should be Britain first. In France, you should be France first. In Russia, you should be Russia first. That's how I see things. So I don't have an issue with it. Let's see. Those relations will hurt more long term than Joe's pulling out fiasco. Well, long term, first of all, I don't think there is a damage long term from what you're describing. Second of all, I think the families of those soldiers who needlessly died in a really fucked up operation, that's the part that infuriates me, would disagree. That it'll be pretty long lasting for them. Sentient Lawn Chair says we should start our own Goose style crayons with names like Suspicious Cold Sore Purple, and Travel Ban Brown. Travel Ban Brown, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. Oh, Inflated Milk. What was JFK's favorite Beach Boy song? I Get Around. I get around. Yeah, I get it. Going Nowhere says, Curtis, do you think Putin threatening to use nukes are just empty threats? You would hope so. You'd hope so, though. I don't know, man. That guy, he's not getting younger. He's not an ancient man, but he's getting older. He doesn't have the things he wants. He wanted basically Russia to become the superpower it once was. He wants the reformation of the USSR. And I just get a little concerned as to his mental state being willing to say, well, I didn't get what I want, so fuck it. Hi, Chrome. We've been having some good conversations, actually. It's been all over the place, as usual, but fun. Excuse me. Zeno says, isolationism was a big part of Japanese culture for like the longest time. True. And they were rejecting trade and immigrants and stuff. There are side effects to that seen in their very unique culture. Right. And there are positives that you can take away from what they have as their culture right now, in that they have a very structured culture that it seems, at least from an outsider's perspective, that it seems the majority of the people are comfortable with. Okay, bye, Poppy. Thanks for being in while you could. Let's see. Arthur says, next repost, paid extra for all the extra text. Sorry, no problem. I'll look. Arthur says, I take an extreme on it. The only time I approve of the government interference is when there is imminent threat to the child's life. For example, my parents were very strict. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about, is where the child is in imminent danger of harm. Then government, and I don't mean, the SWAT team. I mean, local government should get involved and extricate that child from a dangerous situation. But again, in generalities, in the making of it, raising a child should always, the first guidelines should always come from the parents. Arthur says, I agree with some of how they taught me and not other things. Me too. But I'm glad to have the experiences they taught me, whether hard or not. If we start dictating how parents are allowed to raise their kids, what they can teach them, where does it end? Right, I agree. Are we prepared to accept the consequences of having government deciding on what are the proper beliefs? No, we're on the same page. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep. Again, that's why I say in general, I prefer government stay out of parenting. But you can't say out of it altogether, or at least I can't, because I want children to be protected, because unfortunately, there are just far too many kids who get seriously victimized by their parents or other members of their family. Visual FX guy. What do you call Garfunkel without Simon? Nothing. Poor Art Garfunkel. He went after that. He was he is a pretty talented artist, and I remember he was going to concentrate a great deal on his art career, but the fact that I have to bring up the fact that Art Garfunkel was an artist tells you that it didn't go that well. Inflated Milk says, what was your reaction when the Berlin Wall was toppled? I think all of us here in America were pretty elated. Yeah. It signified some seriously big opportunities certainly for peace, and a great lessening of the tensions of the Cold War. Chrome says, so any thoughts on Disney losing Reedy Creek? I'm surprised DeSantis is holding their feet to the fire this much. I can't say I'm surprised. Oh, and Philip's asking the same thing. I can't say I'm surprised, Chrome. I think I was more surprised in the fact that they were given those special parameters. That's a pretty big ask. And I don't, and it's very unusual. So something like that is really a big permission granted to you by the government, having it taken away by a government that feels that you've disrespected them, it doesn't surprise me, really. And this isn't even the big one. Financially speaking, what that does, the biggest crux of that to Disney is, what that does is it makes their day-to-day routine more complicated, because they can't just go ahead and okay everything they want to do. We want to build this onto this theme park. Okay, let's get it through planning and zoning. Oh, that's right. We run planning and zoning. You're good to go. That's why they wanted it. So they'll have to just go back to the way any other company does business and have to take it through proper channels. The big one is coming up if the Republicans do take Congress. If the Republicans take Congress and enough of them are like-minded, on January 1st, 2014, Mickey Mouse, the character, comes up for a renewal of his copyright rights. They've been extended several times because Mickey Mouse, the copyright on Mickey Mouse should have expired years ago, but Congress extended it for them. You have Republicans now saying that we're not going to extend it again. That's going to be a way bigger hit to Disney than any of this financially. When you got the whole world at that point can make anything with the Mickey Mouse name and image, that's going to hurt. People are going to be showing up. People aren't going to be buying the high-priced Mickey Mouse stuff in the parks when they can go to Walmart and Target just down the road and buy something that looks exactly the same for a third. That would be the big one. I haven't. Philip says, Art Garfunkel was actually a pretty talented actor. Have you ever seen him in Catch-22? He was great as Nately. No, I haven't seen that show, but I have seen him act, and you're right. I thought he was a good actor. I have seen him in roles. Chrome says, all they had to do is shut their mouths and not threaten to change politics, but they couldn't do it. Chrome, I've been saying that all along. With any company, and you guys know I'm a big Disney fan, whether that company's political beliefs align with mine or are opposite of mine, just shut up about them. I don't care. I just want to go to Disney and enjoy the parks. I want to watch a Disney movie and enjoy the movie. Don't tell us your politics. Don't get political. There's no need for it. But they can't do it. Nobody can do that anymore. I would rather they are just completely politically unaffiliated. Just be Disney. But nope. Excuse me. Empire Jeff says Ohio State University asked Casino Control Commission to limit sports betting on colleges. Did they, Jeff? I don't think that'll go anywhere. I think Ohio State can ask all they want there. There'd be too much blowback against that. That they won't get anywhere with that. Yeah, Visual FX guy says, "Oh no, here comes the Mickey Mouse porn and Nazi propaganda." Yeah, that would be huge. If the Republicans do take control and they do that, now that's going to hurt Disney. That's a oof. Oh, Rosa. That one hits hard, just like Dale Earnhardt when he sees the wall. Chrome says, probably in the minority opinion on this, but I'm actually kind of on Disney's side on copyright. I'm against time limits on copy when things go public domain. They rot and die like Wizards of Oz. I think there's... I'm torn on it, Chrome, to be honest with you, but I see your perspective entirely. There is definitely, when they lose that copyright protection, there is a dissolution of some really great stuff, really great characters and stories. So I understand why those limits are there, But it's one I see both sides of. But the thing of it is, in fairness, that is why Congress had been granting them extensions, though, on the Mickey Mouse thing, because of that. Because that way it would always be the real true Mickey Mouse. That's another reason why I say, just with these companies, just stay out of politics. Don't get in anybody's crosshairs on either side. Just say, nope, that's not our business. This is our business is theme parks and movies and entertainment. Not interested in all the other noise. But nobody does that anymore. Gimster says, since I just heard you say the mouse is up for grabs for anyone around the world, I can't wait to see someone make Mickey Goose. Mickey Goose someone or get goosed. Yeah. Yeah, if that happens, that would be huge. That's got to be a $1 billion hit to Disney, you would think. Over time. Mao says, will a red wave happen in November midterms? If they were held today, Mao, yes, I think so. You never know. The political winds change so rapidly. It's hard to say, if November is going to be the exact same situation we have now. But if the midterms were held today, yes, I think it would be really bad for Democrats. Johnny says, I'm 100% nonpartisan, so if I ever start a company, I'm saying, yeah, that's what I like. And again, from all my companies I do business with, I don't want to know I don't care about your politics. Even if you align with me, even if you're perfectly in line with me, I don't care. Don't tell me. Don't care. Just provide whatever goods and service that I come to you for and shut up about politics. That's how I would prefer it. Chairman Mao says, can someone explain further what the midterms actually are? It's seats that come up, governorships, but more importantly, on the national level, in Congress, the House and Senate. Now, not every seat comes up every cycle, but there are a significant number up for re-election this time around, to where right now there's a tie in the Senate. It's 50-50, and Vice President has a tie-breaking vote, and Democrats control the House. It looks like the House is gone. It looks like the Republicans are getting the House unless something dramatic happens. And as I said, if the midterms took place today, I think the Republicans get back the Senate as well. The Senate is a little more sketchy which way it goes, but the House, I think, is going Republican. The reason Disney and other companies do politics because it's a calculated business decision. They think they'll make more money being woke. They're wrong, but ultimately they do it to make... You're right, Oink, and that's what I mean. You think they'd learn it. And in fairness, don't be woke and don't be overly conservative. Don't be either. Just entertain us. And you're right. They think they got to take a side. Oh, I'm going to appeal to these people. Just appeal to everybody. And if you do it across the board, don't worry about complaints. It's like, okay, I'm not taking a position on this, and that makes you upset here on the left. But I'm also not taking a position on this, and that makes you upset on the right. Just don't take a position. Unfortunately, I got to go, guys. It's almost 3 o'clock, and my wife is gone, as I mentioned earlier. And we have staff here with my daughter, with Nate. Well, you guys know Nene, with Renee, and she leaves at 3, and I have to go. We have to sign in and out electronically now for them as at the end of their shift and everything. So I got to go downstairs and sign out for her. But this was a free-for-all Friday that is indicative to me of what's great about free-for-all Fridays. A lot of conversation about a lot of different things, and all of it was fun and entertaining. I really, really appreciate you guys. This was a really, really fun free-for-all Friday. Apologies again. I know I keep saying it'll be this way for a little while about the lack of streams. As I said, it's just the extra content I'm doing. There just aren't enough hours in the day. But hopefully, we'll eventually get to a point where that smooths out a bit. Arthur says, I have no problem with Disney making trans kids movies. I also don't care if they make Nazi movies. Right. And you're right, Arthur. You're 100% right. It's like, yeah, and I'm with you completely on that. Entertainment is entertainment. And when it pushes bounds, that's great. So, yeah, I just wish they'd stay out of it. But, guys, thank you. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Thank you for, again, with the streams being so rare, still coming in and hanging out with me, because it does make my week. I look forward to this all week. And that said, the sticky stuff, oh, it's ready to fly. It's been brewing all week. It's that special old man blend. I remember. And what's better than old man sticky stuff? Come on, especially when the old man has a pretty face like this. Here it comes. Pampu pampu. Sticky stuff for you. 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 Sticky stuff for everybody. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashy like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, it's nonpartisan. It's just badass. Goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.